So welcome everyone to the May meeting of the New Jersey Butterfly Club. And tonight we're hearing a presentation from Jonathan Klizas, who traveled to the Rio Grande Valley and is showing us a lot of the different butterflies that he saw while on that trip. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Edmund. Okay. Just first starting off, is everybody on Zoom being able to see anything? And also, can you see my cursor moving on the screen? If someone could say yes or no, that'd be great. You're all
Yes,
muted.
yes,
Sorry?
yes, we can see it, Jonathan.
Beautiful, thank you. Oh, yeah, the mic is on. Oh, good, I love microphones. Okay.
Mike?
Yes, seems so.
It's on. Good. So then, here we go. Bienvenidos. So, buenas noches, mis amigos. With mariposas de Bahía de Rio Grande. And so you know that Texas is a nice big state. We're only going to be dealing with this little section down here, the Rio Grande River. Okay, so we have, turn this thing on.
Rio Bravo.
Rio Bravo? Okay.
You're Mexican, it's the Rio.
Ah.
Rio Bravo, that's right.
Okay, good. And let's see, next here. So you're not going to get a presentation about me without bringing out pre-Columbian peoples that were in the area. And the Coatlicans, probably didn't call themselves Coatlicans, but they were roving family groups that lived on both sides of the Rio Grande River where the food was. The conquistadores from España came and pretty thoroughly wiped them out. But those are all different cultures that were in what we call Texas for Columbian times. All right, 3 counties we're going to be dealing with here, and I'm basing this mostly on if you were to go to the Texas Butterfly Festival. Mostly you'd be going to Starr County in the west, wrong one. Hidalgo and Cameron in the east. So a little bit demographic. Starr County last census had about 66,000 people, 97% Latino. It is, I've been told, the highest concentration of Latinos in the United States of America. Next to that, Hidalgo, 870,000 people. I don't know why this is a big difference, but there is. And 92% Latino. You got the cities of McAllen, Mission, Weslaco, and yeah, I think county seat is Edinburgh. Over in Cameron County, about 420,000 plus people. Cameron County, oh, by the way, Hidalgo is the most southern landlocked county in the United States. Factoid there. Cameron is on the coast. You have South Padre Island, you have Brownsville. So you have Boca Chica, which has been thoroughly raped and destroyed by one SpaceX guy. But I don't want to talk about that because I'll get really pissed off. All right, so. I don't know what the. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. That's still there. I don't know if I'm afraid I'm experienced this. Whoops. And then we have these guys that are throughout the valley. I don't know if this is a Cristo installation or what, but this one is somewhere near Benson, and I don't know what's the purpose of it. Is it a wind chime or something? And then also, if you're down in the valley, you're going to see a lot of advertisements for Ford F-150s. Mostly they are the Border Patrol version. Okay, there we go. Okay, enough of that stuff. Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you turn the lights down or off, that's probably. How's everybody with the lights? That's okay? All right. All right, these are just a list of various locations, and it's really a lot more than this. The butterfly locations are a lot of the common locations you'll see if you were at the Texas Butterfly Festival. One of the nice things about the festival is that you get to go to private gardens that are usually off limits to people just visiting there. And personally, I've seen a lot of butterflies I haven't seen anywhere else at these private gardens. Other locations, these are all famous birding locations. Oh, and then we have this, National Butterfly Center. So we have to thank Dr. G over there for getting this started. This is just a wonderful place. It is the mecca of butterflies in South Texas, at least, if not the United States. I came here in 2004 when it was still pretty nascent, from what I can remember. And it wasn't there until 2023 again, and was just blown away by what had happened in those 19 years. That's also true with the valley, which is really a delta. But the changes there were in 19 years were stunning. Just the amount of people, the amount of growth, if we're called growth. The highways. Texans love to build elevated highways, ramps and stuff like that, like spaghetti roads on top of each other. And the way it is. That's the way it is now. We have our jug handles, they have Texas U-turns. Okay, here we go. Then here's inside the center. Janine Apgar, if you're on the Zoom, which I think you are, I believe that's you. I didn't even realize that. This is from 2023. The inside of the center's visitor center is this color, and so are the men's rooms. Speak for that. And great little spot. And outside the back doors are the wonderful gardens in the back. It's a really special place. Okay. I stole this photo from the Texas Butterfly Festival Facebook page. Here's Jeff in the middle here. Actually, I'm over here. I was surprised to see me there laying on the ground. The festival last year was the 28th. Now I was there in 2023 and 2024. Jeff mentioned that in 2023 was the worst year ever for the festival, and that was because of the drought back in the. I thought it was pretty good actually, being from New Jersey. But 2024, he said it was average. And average is spectacular down there. All right. When you go to the festival every day, there's a scoreboard. There's if you haven't been down there before, you have the 3 cohorts, Blue Wings, Zammies, and Amalekites. And each day, there's 3 days of the festival field trips, and each day a different cohort hits a different section, maybe the western section one day, the central section the next day, eastern section the third day, and different cohorts rotate. And the scoreboard is updated every day. All right, if you haven't seen it before, here it is, the Rio Grande, next to the main section of the Butterfly Center's property is a dirt road that goes to, I guess we'll call them dikes. And levee, thank you, levees. And along the way, you'll probably see a Border Patrol guy. If he's awake, you can wave to him and say hi. And this goes to the dock where the Butterfly Center holds some programs for the kids. And so this is the Rio Grande, and across from that is the Mexican state of Tamaulipas. And of course, besides birds and butterflies flying in the air, you'll find one of these guys too. All right. Hablo inglés. All right. Butterfly Center. Now, I took this number from their website, and it hasn't changed as far as I know. 246 species as of 2023. To find out how many species have been seen in Texas, I've got numbers from anywhere between 450 to 500. 300 in the Lower Rio Grande Valley. Here for that. Look at that. The color key is for me. I'm going to show you a list of butterflies by families, and the color key will be green and white. I've been seeing that NBC. The green are found only in the Lower Green Valley, and then the ones that are in orange I got from Swift Guide, The Butterflies of North America. This is the only book you need when you go down to Texas. This is a great book, great book. All right. So we go to swallowtails, and I don't have any pictures of swallowtails. I had a magnificent in Mexico a few months ago, but I won't show you that. So those are all the different ones. Remember, white and green have been seen at the center. Green is special to the valley, as is the orange species. And this list was generated mostly from the National Butterfly Center's list, except for the Swift Guide ones that I added. We get to the whites, and I'm not going to read through all these. I'll just show you a few pictures here. We have giant whites. I didn't see any in 2023, if I remember correctly, but in 2024, giant whites are fairly common. You're going to see them on. Now, I'm not going to try to identify plants. That's not my thing. I'm a musician, and I know photography and stuff like that, birds and butterflies, but plants are just over my head. But I know this is mistflower, or it could be called crucita. I'm not sure which one is which. Crucita, I was told, was more of a bushy type of mistflower. And they're saying
you can call it either one.
That's what I do. All right. And this is a giant white on Crucita, and this is one over here on a Subaru Legacy. Okay. And then we have the great southern white. Oh, by the way, I stole these maps from a Swift guide. These range maps. The giant southern white throughout Florida and Southwest. Now, if I come back in another life as a butterfly, I want turquoise antenna clubs. You know, I mean, those are just to die for. All right. Hello. Okay, so that's it for the whites, and we'll get into the sulfurs. A few specialties here. I just have a few basic pictures of stuff you probably already know. One being the southern dogface. Here's the map, obviously throughout the whole southern region of the United States. Hello. Could you everybody on Zoom mute, please? Okay. And then we have now large orange sulfur. I couldn't find any decent specimens of them. Large orange sulfur, which I guess we get in New Jersey, you know, we should get in New Jersey. Different from the cloudless sulfur, because this has a continuous band on this part of the wing, whereas the cloudless is broken. So the large orange sulfur there. Lyside sulfur, pretty much in the Southwest. I put up these 3 different photos. They can be different sizes, they can be different colors, green, white, all different shades, and fairly common in certain areas. That's what I've seen. Then I put one in here. We all know this in New Jersey, a little yellow. Obviously throughout the whole eastern part of the United States. And then the first time I saw the next one, I was at Dan Jones' house in Progressive Lakes, and I saw like a little yellow butterfly. I assumed it was a little yellow. And Ryan Rodriguez, if you know Ryan Rodriguez, he's this young virtuoso prodigy of birds, butterflies, and everything else in the valley, well known in the valley. And he told me, nope, that's a mimosa yellow. And I said, okay. And that's because where the little yellow has these dots here in this region, mimosa doesn't. These actually are scaled correctly. They actually are roughly the same size, if I'm not mistaken. Well, oops, sorry. This is the mimosa is on the right, little on the left. Okay, sure. And then one place you will definitely go to if you're looking for butterflies in South Texas is Arasaka de la Palma. That's near Brownsville in Cameron County. And one of the reasons you go there, if not the main reason, is Blue Metalmark. But you go to the visitor center, it'll be on the left, the gardens are on the right, and then there's the Ebony Trail, Texas Ebony Trail that goes out to the Arasaka, which has always been dry when I've seen it there. And on the side of the boardwalk, there's some wooded areas, shrubs and things like that. And one of the reasons you're going there is to see, I'm going to pronounce it in French, Bois de Vals yellow. Now, what I read in the books here is that this is actually the dry season coloration of this butterfly. It's normally, or can be throughout the year, bright yellow. Is that correct, Joe?
Yeah, it looks like it's more often than not.
More, okay. But the spot where this was located was loaded with all sorts of different yellows and sulfurs, and it was really a great little location. And again, you want to see this butterfly, you got to go to the Southwest. Okay, so now we get to the gossamers. And I'm not going to go through all this list here, but just by the color green, you can see there's a lot of special butterflies you're only going to see in the Southwest. These 4 in the bottom right are not even in Swift Guide. They're probably in the Central American and Mexico one, but not in the United States or North America one. Okay, here we go. Lantana Scrub Hair Streak. No map for it. It's only in South Texas. I stole this from Kaufman. And so we'll introduced to Hawaii. No tail. This little blue spot here. It's eponymous flower there. Okay, and then after that, mallow scrub hair streaks. Got these large black basal spots to help identify it. Another Southwest specialty. Oh yeah, there's a subspecies in South Florida. Not mentioned here, but and then one of my favorites, the dusky blue ground streak. And for the most part, South Texas here now may bear a resemblance. I believe it's in the same genus as our red-banded hair streak. And for the most part, except for maybe a section of eastern Texas, red-banded hair streak and dusky blue are mutually exclusive as far as range goes. So, and then, I know I'm zipping through this, but got a lot of photos here. One of my favorites is this guy here, little tiny, flighty mini streak. You're really gonna see this in South Texas, in the United States. Just a gorgeous little butterfly there. Okay. Now, next picture shows some, shall we say, some sacs. So we'll squinch about that again. I'll hide. But here we go. Oh, sorry, I put the Marius hair streak. Marius got snuck in there. I was told it was the Marius hair streak. I would have known otherwise. This was at the Butterfly Center. Apparently, when they're fresh, they have a wash of violet on them. This one was a little warm. Okay, all right. And then off to the blues. Nothing special about the blues. Pretty widespread. Everybody's got the blues. Okay. One of my favorites is the Western Pygmy. This photo was at the Pixie Forest, and from 2023, and there were dozens of these on the same flower. Last year I barely saw any, but that's what's there. Western Pygmy blue, tiny little guy. Then we have the Cassius blue. I think we know who's who here. And South Florida, South Texas. All right, Serranus with the two bold black spots. And that's all the pictures I have of blues. There's some water, yeah. If anybody has questions, you can fire away. I don't know if we'll be able to answer it, but. All right, after Serranus, we get into some of the gems of South Texas, and those are the Metalmarks. In 2023, I think I saw one red-bordered Pixie, and that was at Van Jones' house in his coma tree. Last year, if you went to a plot out at the Butterfly Center, I remember seeing 6 in just one plot. And there we have the red-bordered Pixie. You're really going to see that in the valley. Just a spectacular little butterfly. After that, we get to one of my favorites. Oh, all my favorites, what am I saying? The red-bordered Metalmark. Got a little bit of a curve to the wing here on the forewing. I believe there's supposed to be these bars are supposed to be greenish in color, although I can't really make it out in any of these photos. And it's just a really lovely, lovely butterfly. And where are you going to see this? Of course, South Texas. Oh, the next one is one of the main reasons you go to Resaca de la Palma. I mean, you can find it elsewhere too, but I guess pretty much a good. So when you go to Resaca de la Palma, like I said, there'll be these gardens here, and you will probably somebody taking photos. You'll see somebody with a camera, and they'll be taking pictures of this guy over here. I happen to think the females are spectacular. There's a little beige coloration here, and this pattern. It's just, you can photograph these all day long. They're just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, and then moving right along, what do we got next? Oh yeah, the scintillates. These two. Fatal Metalmark, fairly common in the Southwest. And it's got this checkered fringe appearance. And this interior line here is a little bit curled straight. This one on the right, I was told was a fatal Metalmark, but that just gives you an example of how worn out they can get and how difficult they can be to identify, especially when you're trying to compare it with this next one, which is special to South Texas. That's the rounded Metalmark. Yeah, what's the difference? Good question. So we had this checkered fringe on the edge of the fatal. We like that on the rounded. Now, the other thing about the rounded, I've been told and I've read, is that it's got this little bulge in the on this line here, whereas the fatals is fairly straight. Okay. And also, this is more of a desired butterfly in South Texas. You're not going to see it anywhere else in the United States. And there you go. And that takes care of the Metalmarks. Great group of butterflies. Okay, I only have a few pictures of these. I think most people have seen zebras, and some of these others are pretty rare. I got a picture of the Julia Helenconian. This was taken at the Edinburgh Gardens. Edinburgh's notes for the Edinburgh wetlands. And there are these lawns with these gardens in the middle that are just loaded with butterflies. Julia is just spectacular, and it's got this orange shape, but I love the underwing. This texture and the different colors and this little red mark you can see. Oops, sorry. Every time I hit the there we go, there we go. Touch pad is sensitive. This little red mark in here from the Julia. Great little butterfly. Now I put Gulf fritillary in here. And you know, it's fairly common throughout the South. But this particular individual was in 2023 at the Benson State Park boat launch gardens. And this guy was so brilliantly bright. And everybody was just stunned by it. It just stuck out like a beacon. And actually had to tone down the saturation in the photo. It was just so brilliantly orange. The caterpillar being well fed here, and the chrysalis were both taken last year at San Benito, in a private garden. So there's the Gulf frit. And then we get into the brushfoots. Plenty of these to deal with. I only have a few photos, you know, our typical ladies and things like that. Let's start with the bordered patch. I think most people who've been to the Southwest have seen plenty of these. There are a lot of different colors. I'd love to finish this panel with other examples of what they look like, because it's quite a variety of bordered patches. Then we get into some checker spots. You know, a lot of checker spot. You've got this orange margin on the underwing. This underwing is just spectacular. You see this throughout the Southwest. We got it in Arizona, I'm pretty sure, last year when we were there. And then we have the Iona, highly variable. I think I took this in, what's we call it? Starr County in 2023. Okay. You know, checker spot, Phaon. This is taken at the Butterfly Center. Just a lovely crescent. Got this wide bar on the underwing. And fairly common in certain places. You can tell by its range there. I wish I could get a better picture of a Texan crescent. Every time I see them, they're all beat up. But if you look at the white mark here, there's a fairly good sized gap in between each white marking there. Because when we see the next one, the pale banded crescent, this white mark is not solid, but there's just a very thin gap in between them. Both of these were at the same garden in San Benito. I'm not sure if maybe Jeff, you can tell me which one's a male, which one's a female? Or is there a difference in that regard?
One of us felt that
Yep.
one white's male, and you look up at both of the male.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure either. I couldn't find anything about the coloration difference on them. So I just put them both down there. You're only going to see them in the valley in Texas. Okay, now the next one is fairly common, but I just happen to really like this photo a lot. I'll put it on in a second. It's a white peacock. You'll see a lot of white peacocks, and most of them you'll just ignore probably. But this one landed, it was a beautiful specimen. It landed in this wood chip pile. And I just happen to be, I just love this photograph. Just the colors just kind of blended in with this again was at Dan Jones' house in Progresso Lakes. And I just happen to like the photo. Wasn't that done? But it's fairly common butterfly down in the valley. All right. Admirals and relatives. I've seen crackers in Mexico. I get to see a cracker in Texas, which is why I have to go back down there again. And we'll go through a few of these here. Again, we have the Resaca de la Palma. This is where we had the Bancel sister. This was on the Ebony Trail. A little beat up, but that was I think everybody on the festival last year got to see this. I don't know if it was the same one, but it was the only one I saw. No map, as I said, straight to South Texas. And then another butterfly that a lot of people go into South Texas to see because it is so gorgeous. The Mexican blue wing. Only going to see that in the valley, South Texas. First one I ever saw was 2004 of Santa Ana. Whoops, sorry, National Wildlife Refuge. This is a male, and yeah, it's just a lovely, lovely butterfly. Common maester, I actually took this. My son moved to Austin, Texas last summer, and I took this in Austin, which is actually was a very common butterfly in Austin. The common mistra. And another, I love the name of this last one, plus it's a gorgeous butterfly. The Ruddy Daggerling. This was also at the Edinburgh Gardens, the same place I had that Julia Heliconian. And just, hey, how can you not love this thing? Gorgeous, gorgeous butterfly. All right, I just have one leaf wing and a couple emperors. Still looking to wait to see a goatweed leaf wing in the States sometime. Tropical leaf wing. Now this is on a bait log at the Butterfly Garden on the Hackberry Trail. I believe the formula or the recipe for the bait is, if I'm not mistaken, very ripe bananas, brown sugar, and brown beer. Is that right? So, you know, if you're a derelict, you might want it, but otherwise, butterflies love it. And they spread it on numerous logs throughout the butterfly center. This is where I got a tropical leaf wing. And what you guys, at least last year, what we saw a lot of on these bait logs were tawnies. You might find a empress on there or a hackberry, but most of them were tawnies on these bait logs, at least what I saw. Speaking of the empress, there it is. And I didn't see many last year. I saw a lot of them in 2023, but just lovely, lovely butterfly. All right, got one satyr. Haven't seen a clear wing, and we'll get into some monarch stuff in a minute. So the South Texas satyr, you know, just like Arizona and California sisters, South Texas is going to call it their satyr. You know, everybody else calls it a Carolina satyr. The only satyr that I saw in Texas. This was at, I don't remember actually. Okay, and then we moved to, now I put Queens on here. I don't know if it's the most common butterfly in the valley, but some bushes and some plantings are just gonna be soldier. So there are no spots on the wings here, and on the underwing, there's what they call these watermarks. For every soldier you see, you probably, I don't know, 100 or more queens. That pop up before. Okay, that's enough for those. Now, you might want to take a breath. Might want to do downward facing dog or something just to get relaxed. If you take any medication, you might want to drop one. Because now we're going to do the spread wing skippers. Are you ready? Okay. I'm just going to show you a list. This is page 1. Okay, page 1. Yeah, and here it is. God. Page 2. These are all spread wing skippers. Wow. Ready? Okay, I don't have that many pictures, so it's not that painful. If there was any one butterfly that I missed in 2023 that I wanted to photograph in 2024, it was this one right here, the guava skipper. It is on a Mexican orchid tree. This is at the Retama wall. I saw it with Janine Afkar, who I think is on the Zoom, and Greg Prelich. I don't know if he's on there or not. And we watched this for 15, 20 minutes. The Retama wall is actually part of the Retama Village Resort. And it's right, you can actually park at Benson State Park and just walk down to the wall. And hopefully you'll see one of these. Just spectacular, spectacular. Skipper, his head is for dog for. My goodness. You're really going to see that in South Texas. All right. Hammock skipper. I had to be told that's what it was, but that's what it is. Apparently, there's a close relative to this Manuel. Oops, sorry, step back here. Manuel skipper. But what I think has a purplish or iridescent sheen to it, which hammock misses. This is also at Dan Jones' property in Progreso Lakes in 2023. Following that, we have the white striped. Now, the photo on the left was taken in Austin at the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. If you're in the area, it's worth stopping in there. If you're a senior, which most of you are, for $10 to get in. And the other photo on the right was somewhere in the valley. I'd like to make, for my own simpleton little mind, I like to make analogies of butterflies. I don't know what butterflies I do know. So if we think of this sort of like the silver spider skipper with that nice bold white mark on the wing, you can compare it with the next one. I think they're both in the same genus. Yes, they are. The Zilpa longtail, which is a real South Texas specialty. It was a real treat to see this. This is kind of like, maybe you can think of this more like a hoary edge, you know, use your imagination a little bit. I love its flowers. I believe it's called sky flower, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they even have, yeah, Durante erecta. I believe that's what that is. And the Zopo is on that. Fantastic little butterfly. All right, next. We get Durantes. It's got this broken line in here. That's helped to identify it. This was at looks like a La Palma, I'm pretty sure. And then after that, we have brown longtail. It's got these two, I don't think you see it on here, but there's two little dark marks on the forewing here. This was at Ignacio's property in Westlaco. Obviously, the places you wouldn't go to unless you were at the festival. Hint, hint. Okay, and then longtail skipper, we all know this from New Jersey. There are a few down there. Then we have this next one. I mean, you know, I was with Janine and Greg Krellich for 3 days last year. And each day we kept hearing about a two-barred flasher being near the close to the bird feeding station at the Butterfly Center. Finally, the last day of the festival, it's like 4:45. We're all beat to death. The center's going to close in 15 minutes, so we got to go for this, you know, one more. So we walk out there, barely making it now, and don't see anything. Come around a corner, and there it is. Like, eye level. I took one shot and left. I have to go back now and get an open wing shot. So, you know, that's how these things work. So it's a two-barred flasher, spectacular. So these are all spectacular. All right, now next one. I don't want to hear anybody say potrillo. Okay, if I do, I'm gonna write it up. It's potrillo. Potrillo skipper. Why is it potrillo? Because that's a Spanish word for foal or colt. Well, why is it called that? Because someone, I don't know what they were smoking, but they thought this little marking here looked like a saddle. See that little saddle there? So they called it potrillo. Say it. Potrillo skipper. There you go. Tabarés potrillo. There you go. All right. Again, that's only in the southern part of Texas, and this was also at that same garden at San Benito, where I saw a whole bunch of stuff where I didn't see anything else. Private garden. All right. Shall we all go? Oh, coyote cloudy wing. I don't know why it's called coyote cloudy wing. I have no idea. I guess this is the cloudy wing, default cloudy wing in South Texas. I don't really know. They're hard to tell apart. And this one on the right was done at Falcon State Park Garden 2023, and this one on the left was at Oleander Acres in Mission last year. And there it is. I'm not even going to try to describe the field marks. All right, what do we have next? I love this next one. This is also at Resaca de la Palma, the mimosa skipper. The fringe kind of got worn off on this one, but this flecked brown, gray brown stuff just makes me swoon. I don't know, what can I say? I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous butterfly. Mimosa skipper, also at Resaca de la Palma. This is one garden over from the Blue Metalmark. And 2023, I'm with John Yoakum and Ryan Rodriguez. We're at, with a whole bunch of other people as well, and we're at the Benson State Park boat launch gardens, where I had that Gulf Fiddle area earlier. And Ryan, like I said, is just amazing, amazing field person. And he's, boom, skipper goes flying by. I mean, nobody saw it. He goes, hermit skipper. How the hell did he know it was a hermit skipper? But he was right, of course, and we got on it and called all the other cohorts by radio, and everybody came over. Oops, sorry, see the hermit skipper. It's got these marks, two dark marks on the forewing here, but if you, I don't know if you can see it on here, but if you look real carefully, you can see this yellow neckline. And obviously, you're only going to see it in South Texas for the most part. And this is a frontal view. But apparently it's a very special butterfly because everybody wanted to see it. Hermit skipper. Okay, good one. Mazans or Mazans, however you want to say it. Scalloping one here on the right. Again, this is the San Benito garden I keep talking about. It's a private garden. And this was the first one I saw was beat up. And then over here, this beautiful flecked scalloping. I don't think there's anything close to it, but it was just great to see that. Again, South Texas is where you're gonna get it. The next one, in 2024, if you went to Estero Llano Grande State Park, which is a must, you gotta go there. There were like, I don't know how many of these, they were abundant. There was in the gardens they had, they were just filled with these guys. Sickle wing skippers. Tons of, just lots and lots. Now the next one, please change the name of this thing. What's mournful about that? A dumb name. I'm sorry, that gets me mad. Call it like Royal Dusky Wing or something a little celebratory. This is ridiculous. And then they put everything as tree sticks on top of it. I mean, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous Dusky Wing. What can I say? Now I had close to this would be funereal Dusky Wing. I have a photo of that. I'm not entirely sure it was that. I was told it was that, but I don't know. And it was a weak individual anyway, so I didn't include it with this. But that's something that could be close to mournful. They were fairly common last year. And we had in Arizona too, I believe, didn't we? Mournfuls? Yeah. Okay. Oops. Oh, then I went back to that. Mournful, and then we're still doing spread wing skippers. And I'm just giving you a little, small sampling here. Yes, here we go. Checker skippers. White checker skipper. I'm not getting into the common white checker skipper stuff. I'm not touching that. Everybody in the South wants to call this white checker skipper. They can call it whatever they want. Now, white checker skipper lacks this little dot. Whoops, sorry. Keep getting the thing there. White checker skipper has that little misses that little dot in there, but it, like its name implies, it has this checkered kind of pattern on the fringe. That brings, I'm going to show these all together too, so fear not. And then we have the tropical checker skipper. Okay, it's got checks too, sort of, but I love this word. They come to the forewing and then they coalesce. Isn't that nice? We should all coalesce. All right, into that brownness right here like that. The fringe is a little beat up here, and this does have a little dot in the corner. So that's the tropical checker skipper. Next we have, there's more. The desert checker skipper. The checks are somewhat evenly spaced. It's supposed to have that little dot in the corner. That's the desert checker skipper, and I have all three together. You figure them out. Okay. As far as I know, that's white, tropical, and desert. Yeah, fun stuff. All right. More. Labiana. This was just fairly common in 2023. I'm not sure I saw as many in 2024. Lovely, it's a male, I believe. This is a lovely pattern on the top, and then it's got this on the underwing, it's got this Y pattern on the underwing. And again, South Texas shows that it comes into southeastern Arizona a little bit. And then I've always seen very few of these. That's Turk's Cap white skipper. Interestingly, like with the top here, let's go back to the Labiana. It's a little bit different, obviously, but Turk's Cap's got this one ray right here that goes into almost into the margin. And that's pretty diagnostic for the species, apparently. And then it's got this dark, broad marking on the underwing. So that's Turk's Cap white skipper. Pretty cool stuff. South Texas. This next one I cheated on. This I took this in Arizona last year. Actually, I saw them in Texas. I thought I had a Texas photo, but I didn't. But pretty broad white marking here. It's pretty easy to see this one. Erickson's white skipper, and so is, I think, white patched. Here we have white patches on the hind wing here. More Southwest stuff, and one more spread wing skipper. Yes, I know. Texas powdered skipper. Texas powdered skipper, get out of here. Get out of here. Won't go. No. Texas powdered skipper has got the this marking here is straight. Now it does overlap with the Arizona powder skipper, but I believe the Arizona little line would be crooked. So that's one difference between the two. It's a Texas powder skipper. That's it for all the photos I have for spread wings. Thank you. You're welcome, ladies. And then we have, I don't know many, but we have skippers, skipper wings, best skippers. I could have fit all this on one page, but I decided not to, just to show you. There's a lot of these things here too. And we're almost done. Be better than I thought. All right, just a few skippers here. We have Julius. Pretty common throughout Texas. It's a weird little range. I don't quite understand that little blue line going up, that single groove going up into the border of Arizona and California, but whatever. And plain yellowish cast to the ground here. There's a Julius. Now the next one, I know it's a common skipper and it's really plain, but give me you follow a skipper some love. Come on, it's a nice skipper. Plain little guy in the southeast. The olive clouded. I saw one in 2023, but only got a photo last year, 2024. Another garden in San Benito, South Texas only. And as it says here, it could be the same species as wild clouded, which I believe we saw in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, in Patagonia. So that's what they say. Olive clouded skipper. And then the cloud skipper for fun. It's real common use. You have these costal dashes, we'll call them, over here, and that little frosting on the way. It's on the same page in a flip guide as the fawn spot skipper. Greg Prelich dug this one out at the same garden in San Benito. So we had a lot of stuff. Fawn spotted has some dark markings here, but other than that, nothing like the clouded. Again, South Texas. What do we have next? A terrible specimen of Celia's roadside skipper. It unfortunately lost the checkered fringe here, but all the ones I saw are like this. Celia's roadside skipper throughout a lot of Texas there. One that we all know, which probably know in New Jersey, would be Brazilian skipper. This was also at the Retama Wall where I had guava skipper and Zilpa longtail. I had one there too. Now we're getting into two more photos. And in there, Ocala skipper. Now, the panicans, Jeff, if I'm correct, I thought I heard you say last year at the community day, you had 4 panicans at the Butterfly Center in one day.
I think, let's see, I probably had,
That's amazing.
yeah, I did, because I had, Oklahoma, Purple Lodge, Hesperbolus, and Evans.
Wow, that's impressive. That's really,
Photos of all of them.
that's cool. All right, I didn't see that, man, but I'll call it here. We all know that from New Jersey, probably. That's a cool flower. I don't know what that is, but anybody know? No. Okay, I don't either. And finally, the Purple Watch skipper. This main photo in the middle was taken in the garden right outside the front entrance to the Butterfly Center. Easily seen by these vertical dots on the hind wing. The other 2 were taken at Quinta Mazatlan, however that's pronounced, in McAllen. One on the left has a little bit of purple. I'm assuming this one on the right might be a female. So they all have those white dots on the hind wing. And finally, just for the heck of it, a little Texas unicorn mantis to bid you adieu. This is also at that San Benito garden. Have I said enough about that? Okay. Yeah. Whoops, and feed. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, you can ask somebody.
Jonathan, what time of year were you down there?
Yeah, what time of year?
Yeah,
Okay, 2023, I was there the first week of November. Last year, I was there the last week of October.
okay.
Festival runs usually, I guess, the first 2 days of November, and then that is contiguous with the beginning of the Texas birding, the Rio Grande Birding Festival. So you could actually do both.
Did you put on the Zoom?
Have you been,
Yeah, I'll try. Let me see. How do I do that? Anybody know? Okay.
have you been there in the spring?
No, that's one thing I want to do. Yeah, absolutely.
We were there last month and they were kind of shocked. About 2 weeks into April. They had, I think, 7 species for the month, whereas they had, I forget what they said for all of March, but it was significantly more, like in the 40s or 50s. But and the weather was good, so I don't know what was happening.
Well, I know that after I was there last November, that's when the crackers showed up and, we got a really cool butterflies showed up that I'd still like to see. But, you can't, I guess it's, except for maybe the dead of winter, there's really no bad time to go there.
Thank-
It was often the slowest month, although, there's huge variations in this year all the time.
Could you hear that from Jeff?
No, actually, what did you say?
Usually the slowest month, but, there's variation year to year.
Say one more time, the slowest month?
April.
Thank you. Wonderful.